Todoist just dropped a Claude integration, and I'm going to show you in this video 3 workflows that you can get started with it to improve your daily productivity. Welcome back, folks. It's Francesco here, and today I wanted to dive into the Todoist Claude connector and primarily how and why it could be useful and why it spells an interesting future for this connection. Today's video is kindly sponsored by Setapp. A little bit more about them later on, but if you're interested, they're in the link in the description. So first and foremost, what is Claude? What is a connector and all of that? So the very basics are that this is a connection and integration between Claude, which is a thinking partner or AI chatbot, and Todoist. This basically means that there can be data passed between the two, and it allows you to do a range of different things. So in order to set it up, you have to have a Claude account. You can get access with, I think, $10 credit in the link in description. But basically you go over to connectors, press browse connectors, and you go and you type in Todoist. Once you get started, you can connect it up, sign into your account, and you basically have a relationship between Todoist and Claude. So that's the setup out the way. I wanted to give you 3 examples of how you could use this in everyday activities. So let's start with the first one. My first recommendation would be bulk planning. And what I mean by that is very simply the act of you changing a mass amount of events. Now, how does this actually work? So for example, right now in Todoist, if something came up where half of your day was gone for some reason, I know sick kids typically happen, and that's how my days just disappear, and say you wanted to move that into Todoist, you'd probably have to go in, press maybe 4 or 5, maybe even 10 items, and move them to tomorrow or move them to your inbox or wherever you store that type of stuff. If you open Claude and say, for example, move all of my tasks after 1 p.m. today into my inbox and set no due date, it's going to do that for you. So that's what I mean by bulk planning, something that may potentially be an emergency and you just want to be able to shift that information fairly quickly. Now, just a few notes. If you're using Claude, you need to make sure you have the connector on. I've set this on all the time, so it always makes that relationship available to me. So just make sure you do that. Now, that particular example is very helpful, not only for a situation like this, but potentially another situation where you're trying to clear your plate quite fast. This week, for example, I've been using it to move any inbox items to all of my different areas automatically. But to be honest, you could use it in a variety of ways. For example, if there's a bunch of things that you've added in a brain dump to your inbox, you could ask Claude to sort them out into the relevant sections of a project. Now that could be quite helpful, like things I need to do around the house or 20 items that are just random and you want to be able to sort them into the sections you already have. So you can see where the bulk value is there.
Quick question, how many individual subscriptions are you paying for right now on your Mac device? Because there is actually a smarter way. Setapp is a marketplace with hundreds of hand-picked Mac apps. You can buy just the ones you need, or you can get a membership with access to all of them. Clean My Mac keeps your system fast, Bartender declutters your menu bar, Al Dente Pro protects your battery, and there's total budget control. You can pick what works for your workflow without overpaying for apps you don't use. Setapp is offering an extended 30-day trial. Links right in the top of the description. Check it out there.
So here's use case number 2, and this one's called reflective priorities. Now, over the last couple of months on ChatGPT and Claude, I actually have been using it as a little bit of a to-do list application. And the primary reason behind that is because I sort of like a soundboard with my to-do list application, if that makes sense. Sometimes I'm able to talk with it and I'm able to get insights about the task I'm working on, but it also is a bit of an accountability buddy. Maybe I'm strange, but I work by myself, so at the same time, being able to have that accountability buddy is quite important. So having this Todoist and Claude integration is very helpful. And the main reason for that is because Claude has instructions, context, and memory. So Claude knows my own personal goals, and now it knows the tasks that I need to do in a day. I can go to Claude, open it, and ask it things like, what task do I have today that achieve X, Y, and Z goal? or for example, don't align with my goals. And I can get a quick overview of what I may not be working on that isn't going to move the needle. But the idea is it could pull the information of all the tasks I've got for my day and be able to allow me to interact with it. For example, the way I was using it before was, here's my list for today. Actually move this item to Tuesday, move that item to Wednesday, and make that item a lot longer in the time blocking area. So you can start to correspond with your tasks, which is a really valuable thing in my opinion. I feel like this is a bit of a thinking mirror for how you interact with your tasks, and I think this type of thing could be very interesting for people in particular that need that soundboard to their task management. Okay, so the third use case I have is actually something that is the other way around in Todoist. So inside of the connectors area, you can press something called add from Todoist, and this is basically a prompt that injects into Claude, and it basically allows you to analyze certain parameters. Now, what does that mean in plain English? Well, you can ask something like choose today and overall, and you can even choose a project ID if you wish. But it injects some information into Claude, which allows you to get a end of day review. Now, it could be over a certain period of time on certain goals that you've done or tasks you've completed. But what this is going to do is pull all of that information and produce a bit of a report for you. So to some extent, for those people that need to be able to establish what was done, it can really help them. Here's my report, and as you can see, 66 tasks completed, and you can get a breakdown of all of the information. You can also see as well, the daily goal was hit by the morning, and it's going to give me an idea as well of the project distribution and boxing and things like that I did across the day. It'll also then take Claude's information that it knows about your memory and context and be able to pull that information together to help give you an idea of how your tasks actually correspond with your context. So that one's a little bit of an early days. I actually returned an error on it. So obviously this is in beta and very early days, but of course it's very useful to see this type of information when it corresponds with your task app and of course your AI thinking partner. So I definitely think this new Claude integration is a great release. I think it's very interesting how they've built it, and hopefully we went through some examples. The use case one was about bulk planning. That's a great way to move a large amount of things at one time, and of course taking time to do that with the correct prompts. Number two was overviewing how you can use it to reflect on your day and your priorities. And number three was reflecting on your report of your day that's just gone. So I talked about this about 5 or 6 years ago, the concept of to-do list apps being like a car. They're more of the chassis and the models are the engines. So they are very valuable when paired together because obviously they work in symbiosis to increase what you're doing. So if you're new here to the channel, you've enjoyed this video, that is great news. My name is Francesco. You can go over to toolfinder.com, join the newsletter or browse the tools there. We're going to help you to navigate the software landscape. We're going to help you also to save and to stay ahead. So do check out all of our resources, and I look forward to more regular videos here on the channel. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon.